Dana, thanks so much for coming on today. Uh-oh, I think I lost your volume. Hold on, unless it's me. Okay, I think I got you now.
Got me now?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to start off with just talking about when and how did you get into real estate?
So I have like a big background in real estate, kinda. So I've done like different live-in fix and flips. I had done, if I'm still there, it was my screen was messing up. Had bought some vacant land, did some split on that, so about 40 acres, and split it down to 3 10s and 2 5s, and sold that off for profit. My like business career was I was a store manager for Home Depot for almost 20 years, and so I worked with a lot of contractors, people who were in fixing and flipping houses anyways. So I was kind of watching them do stuff and saying, I had a good salary, so I didn't really stress too much over it. But I was like, I should probably be doing some of that too. And so bought and sold, had some rentals, and just over the years, always wanted to do it full time, but had those, what they call them, the golden handcuffs, when you make a lot of money in your day job and you're not sure if you want to switch and do something different.
Yeah.
And so the opportunity came up, and have been doing it for about 6 months full time now. But that's kind of how I got into it. I always had that kind of in the background wanting to do it, and
Yeah.
then doing little bits and chunks while I was doing my W-2, and then just took it more full time this year.
So what gave you the confidence to dive all in 6 months ago?
So I left the W-2 thing. It's been 4 years now. Haven't had a job for 4 years, and I spent the first year day trading, which gave me a lot of gray hairs, and that's a true story. It was too much. It was too much, and I was trading way above my limits, and so I was like, I did okay, but I was like, it's not what I want to do full time. So then I went into something that I've always kind of had on the back burner, which was reselling. And so again, with Home Depot, I was selling stuff. So I kind of had a background in selling stuff. And I had the opinion that real estate was going to crash. So I sold off all my rentals and said, I'm going to go in to do something else until real estate comes back. And then I'll go into real estate full time.
Oh.
We all know that didn't happen. It just kept chugging along. And so I went into reselling, which was eBay and Amazon. You can probably see all this junk on the site over here. It's just stuff I have listed on eBay and Amazon. And so I spent the last 2 years doing, I'm on a new laptop, so I'm not sure. I keep forgetting where the camera is. I spent the last 2 years just buying stuff at thrift stores and yard sales and online, and reselling it on eBay and Amazon for a profit, and was, still making six-figure income from it with very little stress, not too many more gray hairs. But I got to a point where I was like capping, and I was like, I don't know that I can make it go much higher. And I knew I wanted to do more. So I said, you know what? Like, I need to really give this a try. And if you don't try now, I don't want that to be a regret later that I waited another year or 2 years or whatever, to go after real estate just because I had something comfortable, Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. So you jumped into real estate. I know you recently joined the mentorship Subto, and in your intro post, you put that Pace paid you to join the mentorship. Can you give us context on that?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I had joined Gator. So most people watching this probably know what Gator is. So I joined Gator, a lending kind of portion of Pace's communities, in October of last year. So I've been in that for a year now, and it's, $3,000 to get in. So I had like two thoughts. One, I've lent money before, so I knew like I have a background enough in that to like lending to fix and flippers and things. So I was like, I could probably do that. That's an easy one. Plus it's less than what Subto costs. So I'm like, I'm going to just do that to get started. And I was doing that, I don't want to say on the side, but I was doing it on the side. So I was doing my reselling and that like coexisting, but neither one of them were really like going crazy as much as I wanted to. So I finally decided I'm going to go after just one thing. and I'm going to push the reselling to the side. So I started going full force on Gator. And from going full force on Gator, I met a lot of people in the Subto community, specifically one, Jake Viorette, who kind of runs the Gator Zooms and stuff like that every week. And I had a conversation with him and said, hey, like, what's your buy box and what are you looking to do? And kind of got an idea of what he was looking for. And then I said, I'm just going to go out and start looking for deals. And so when I found my first deal, I wasn't in Subto yet, so I didn't have the contracts, I didn't have all the addendums, like the transaction coordinator, all the stuff that you would need to really get that deal to the finish line. So I called Kevin Cho and I said, hey, I've got a deal. And I said, do you want to JV it with me? And he said, oh my God, yes, I want that deal. Like, yes, we can do that deal. And so we got that one JV'd under contract and assigned to Pace. So he, paid me an assignment fee on that. I had to split it 50-50 with Kevin. But I figured what I was going to do was use my first couple deals to pay my way into Subto. And it just so happened that my first 3 deals, all JV'd with Kevin, all sold to Pace. And so Pace paid me to join Subto. He my LLCs, like all of that was done just from doing deals. And so I said, well, okay, well, it's time to join officially now.
That's so cool. What a cool story.
Yeah.
It's cool that you can say that because, technically, I guess you did pay your way into Subto, so that's really amazing.
Yeah, that was the thought process, at least.
Yeah. So what's your, have you watched the Avatar series in Subto?
Yeah, I'd watched a lot of it on like YouTube before when he was doing Zooms. And that's how I got like my confidence in making the agent calls for getting my first Subto deal, was just watching the free YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was funny that I got enough game out of the free YouTube before I even joined, which was kind of cool. But so the Avatar is direct to seller is what I wanted to go after.
Okay.
But I kind of switched to direct to agent, and because I was just having more success with that. And so I was like, okay, I feel comfortable with this. I'm going to go direct to agent. And then I do direct to seller as a kind of a side note to that. So I follow up on expired listings. If I'd already been calling on one that was on market and the agent's like, they're not interested, this doesn't work for them, I'll follow up with it as, direct to seller afterwards. But basically closer, direct to agent is my avatar.
Gotcha. So are you calling
a side of Gator on the side?
So you're still doing consistent Gator deals?
I wouldn't say doing consistent. I have it there if it comes up. So if I'm talking to somebody and it's just one of those kind of things, but not actively pursuing it.
Right.
Because I'm having way more success with Subto deals.
Yeah. For the Subto deals and direct to agent, are you calling on listings, or there's kind of another method that people do where you pull a list of agents and just hit the phones, calling agents, hey, what do you have? What do you have? Instead of calling on the direct listing? Which route do you go?
Listing specific. And so I'll show you. I'm old. I have computer stuff and a whole CRM and all that too, but like you probably won't be able to read it. I'll show it back here. I don't want anybody to get in all my addresses, but it's literally like,
oh my gosh,
how much would the agent make? How much would the seller make? What's the address? What is my offer? And then that way, so if like somebody calls me back from my CRM, it pops up on the screen and I can see where they were and what date I sent the LOI. And I can go right back to that date and see, what did I offer them? What did I offer the seller? What is their interest rate? What is the market rate? And to be honest, like each property underwriting that I do on there, 2-3 minutes. Like it's super fast. Like what's the asking price minus whatever their commission, so 6 to 7%, and then so what are they standing to net and what is my offer going to be? So I try and always be a little bit above what are they standing to net.
Yeah.
And that way it can hopefully stand out a little bit.
Right.
And that's my deal. So that I'm only going after ones that I've specifically sat down and said they have less than 2 or 3% equity that they're going to get anyways, and then going after that.
Okay. What markets are you in for that?
Arizona is my main market, but I do the Carolinas, I do Texas, I do Florida, I've done deals in Oklahoma, Ohio, and Tennessee, and those were all specifically. Um, so like going back when I was told you I talked to Jake as one of my deals for like kind of getting an idea of what people were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I went to 5 different Sub2 students when I first got started and said, what are you looking for? And what would you buy if I brought it to you? And so I got their criteria and their states of where they want to buy.
Yep.
And that's where I market. And it
Smart.
was literally that simple. So all of my deals have been assigned to, I think, 4 total buyers. So I've done 12 deals in the last 4 months to 4 buyers because I'm basically shopping specifically for them, except for the one deal that I just did today, what I was telling you before we went live that I assigned. That one's assigned to a new person, but they've got a big history of buying, so I feel comfortable with it.
Is that what you would recommend to a newbie, is go find your buyers, talk to them, find out what they want, and essentially go shop for them specifically?
I personally would, because I think I talk to a lot of new people in Subto. I don't say a lot, but I've had a lot of people reach out to me because they're like, oh my gosh, how are you new and you've done how many deals? And I've been in here for 2 or 3 years and I haven't done a deal yet. I'm like, well, how often are you calling? And they're like, well, every couple of weeks. And I'm like, okay, well, I call every day. Like, that's my job. I do this all freaking day. I said, but what I would do is I wouldn't build a list of like 50 buyers, but go build a list of 5 buyers. Just 5 people that you've seen posting that they're buying, not that they're selling deals, but the ones who posted, I just closed on a new midterm rental. I just closed on a new pad split. I just closed on a new whatever. So, you know, they're physically the end buyer holding it, and say, what did you look for in that deal? And if I brought you that kind of deal again, would you buy it again? And then that way you can secret shop specifically for them, and then say, I know it fits their buy box. I know it fits their max payment. I know it fits their max. So you don't have to guess if it's a deal.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of the new people are doing, is they're trying to guess if it's a deal, and they're afraid to put it on the contract because what if I can't assign it? And I'm like, well, if it fits this deal, then we should be good. Yeah. And I did some of the deals that, like, even that we've JV'd together, we were JVing deals before I was officially in Subto for kind of the same ideas. I wasn't in Subto yet, didn't have the contracts, and I was like, I just want to keep getting deals rolling. Right. And so, you know, you guys had did that 12-hour live, and so I'm like, all right, let me throw a couple at you and let's get them closed. And, you know, one's still in escrow, hopefully closing next month.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that one's been interesting. For that one, did you go, was that expired and you went directly to the seller?
It was an expired listing. Yep.
Got it.
So it flagged, it was actually on market listing. It was still on an on market report, but it had fallen off like a week before, but it was still flagging on batches on market.
Yeah.
And so that was almost a lucky that it was flagged as on market, because I wasn't searching for off market.
Yeah. Really cool. Okay. So there's a lot of people, I think, that talk about they have W-2s, they have the golden handcuffs, and I see posts and stuff too all the time, like, oh, I really want to leave my W-2. I don't know if I should. And, you know, really just contemplating whether or not they should and what the course of action should be. Do you have any advice or tips for someone that is stuck in that position right now on whether they should go ahead and jump, or what to do if they do choose to jump and leave their W-2 and go full time into real estate?
Yeah. So I would say when I left, it was kind of a lucky situation for me. I got paid a severance. Like, they paid me 6 months of income to just not work anywhere for a while and don't go work for a competitor. And so I was like, what better time than now to leave and just go do something different? Yeah. And so I had plenty of income, and I would, what's up, Abraham? I would challenge anybody to build up at least a couple months war chest before you leave and go full time. Because everything I do, technically, if I really wanted to, I could squeeze into a couple hours after work every day and a full day on Saturday or Sunday on the weekend. Like, you can do this part-time and still get a full-time income from it if you're consistent in your calls and follow up in a targeted list or whatever. So all that to say is, I wouldn't leave if you don't have the income for it, or at least an account backed up for it, because I would hate to see somebody jump into it and say, okay, I'm going to get my first deal and then I'll be good because it'll pay me $10,000 and I'm going to cover my bills for a few months.
Yeah.
But you don't understand, or at least they might not understand, that it could take 45 days for that deal to get through escrow. And then maybe there was a renegotiation, or maybe it falls out because the sellers change their mind or you're in buyer back, whatever. Things happen.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to weather 2-3 months minimum without saying, like, if I didn't get a deal for my first 3 months, I would still want to be doing it full time, calling every single day, doing my follow up. I have a routine that I do, and I would tell anybody else that they got to do that same thing, because if you try something different every day, you're not going to build momentum. And if you're worried about, well, I've got to go get a side job so I can keep doing my real estate dream, do it backwards. Do the job, do real estate on the side until you've got a few deals in, save up that money, don't spend it, and then you can go full time. That's what I would say.
I like that. Yeah, I think giving it at least 90 days is important, because although you might see on social media that someone gets a deal in a week, like that's so rare. And things do happen all the time that people don't talk about. Like the deal that we have, I think it was supposed to close, like last month, and now we're still a whole month out from it even closing. It's like a 3-month closing. And we had one the other day that the assignment got cut in half. So stuff happens all the time, and it's so unpredictable that I agree that you should be prepared for what you're getting into. Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently in your journey so far?
I wouldn't say I wish necessarily. What's up, Ronald? I wouldn't say necessarily differently, but I wish I invested in myself faster into, say, joining Subto, because I will, by the time all of my JV deals that I did with people prior to joining Subto, because I didn't want to spend the money up front to get in and have, I'm sure I could have figured out a way, but I'll probably pay 25 grand in split assignment fees that I would have got myself. And so it was like, just the first deal that I sold to Pace if I did it myself instead of JVing on it, I would have got in a lot faster. I would have made a lot more money. And I don't regret doing all those JVs at all. And I would tell anybody who's looking at it and is new, JV 100% for your first couple deals, because you can watch how it goes. You have limited risk on it because you're just kind of tagging along with that transaction. But at the same time, like I said, my wanting to pay my way in by doing deals cost me $25,000. I still probably would have JV'd some of those deals anyways, as I was getting momentum going. But I would have a lot more money in my pocket.
So are you still JVing right now, or are most of your deals just by yourself individually?
Both. It depends. So like the one I was just telling you that I assigned right before this call, it was actually brought to me by a wholesaler who didn't know how to do anything with creative. And he's like, hey, I saw you were closing creative deals. Can you help me with this? And I was like, absolutely. Let me talk to the sellers. And so we talked to the sellers, got the contract, got it assigned, and he's just tagging along on the side, to get paid that way. But then I also still do deals, like if I have one where I locked it up, but I don't have a buyer's list for that area. Like I specifically have a few, but I know have buyer's lists that will JV just a portion to do the assignment disposition side of it. So I think JVing and building a community, relationships, like people you can say, hey, I've done deals with, and there's a trust factor, 100% would suggest that. And I'm still doing it, but I'm trying to get a few more solo ones, before the end of the year at least.
Yeah. Okay. So you're doing consistent deals. You have a pretty good system and flow, and you've gotten really focused on your avatar. Is there anything in your business right now that you're like, I really need this person, or I really need this thing, or this would make my business explode right now? What is that thing?
I would say more consistent lead flow data, if that makes sense. And it's kind of funny. I just switched half today from batch. I've been using batch. Hey, balloons. I don't know what that is. I switched from batch that I've been using that. Yeah, I don't know. It was something with your hand, but I know Pace was doing that the other day. You like thumbs up and it popped a thing, but I don't know
Oh,
how
how
it did that.
cool.
But anyways, I had a comfort level with batch, and batch 2 weeks ago took away your ability to export lists with the mortgage data and the
Mhm.
MLS data, because I was using that and cross-referencing them to build a percentage of equity, and then I could sort the list and by negative equity to high equity, and then
Yep.
just cut it off at whatever point. So I could pull the whole state, and it was awesome. I could pull the whole state and then just sort it by equity. And so it's like, okay, I'm calling on market, and they took it away. And
Mhm.
they were like, well, we're going to bring it back sometime in the future, but we don't know when. And I'm like, well, I'm paying you $100 a month for it, and I can't
Yeah.
use it. So I switched. They kept saying, we're not sure. We don't know why. They finally today said, well, okay, we don't know why it's gone, but we're not bringing it back for a while. And so I switched to PropStream today, and I'm getting a learning curve of, figuring out just where stuff is. And, if I had a better flow of it and could just like pop into it, how I was
Yeah.
doing with batch. Because what I did is I would build a list of 500 properties to call, and then I could just get through that list in a week, and then I would build a new one and then just get through that list. And so now I'm doing like kind of one at a time, going through these things, which isn't, it's not time effective or cost effective, really. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of different things about that. I know like Myron's, take over your market tool. Maybe I'll have to look into that more
Yeah.
aggressively. I'm like, I was kind of making it work without it, but that's what I got to get more of, is just, if I get enough lead flow, I can close the deals,
Yeah.
and then I probably need to build more of a buyer's list as well. But I figure that'll just come as I'm doing deals.
Naturally. Yeah. Yeah, definitely reach out to Myron. He's, of course, the integrator that knows how to work all that stuff. So I'm sure he could help you figure it out.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
like a half and half. I'm half visionary, half integrator. Depends on the
are
day.
you?
I
I
think,
feel like that's a
I
really
don't
good
know.
mix.
People would probably tell me different.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I mean, I definitely see you as a visionary. You are very, making the calls, good on the phones, good with people, and have those good upfront communication skills. So I see that strongly. I don't think I've, seen you enough on the systems to know whether that was your personality or not, but I definitely see you on the visionary side.
Yeah, I would say I lean more towards that for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
also anti-social anxiety, which is super weird. I have a YouTube channel. You guys can, Dana Invests right there. I threw it up in the background there. On the other side of that board is all my 2,500 subscribers, and like used to go live all the time. But then it's so weird when
Wow.
you don't do it for a while. It gets uncomfortable. There's the balloons again. I don't know what's up with the balloons.
That's so weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I'm very outgoing and very visionary, but like going live on YouTube at first was really nerve-wracking for me. I was not comfortable with it. Like standing up in front of people and talking is not something I'm comfortable with. But like I can go up and just talk to a person, but standing in front of a crowd is definitely out of my comfort zone. So I wish I was more like that though.
I think I got a lot of that. So when I used to work with Home Depot, I'd have to get up in front of like this. We'd have store meetings or whatever, district meetings, and I'm up in front of 300 people.
Yeah.
And what's on Rio. And so you'd have to get up in front of 300 people and make a speech and fire them up and all that. And it was like, never loved it, but got used to it. But yeah, they go back, like on a lot of my old videos were from like the reselling side, not necessarily my real estate. I'm trying to add new real estate stuff in there as I go. And you'll see me like in this room packing orders, just talking to people live just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Because it's boring when you're doing like that kind of stuff. The same idea when you're calling agents all day, if you're just getting the answering machines.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty boring.
Yeah.
Well, all the time I got a monitor set up over here with 2 screens on it and then my laptop. So I've always got like YouTube or a Zoom live or something going to just keep your mind right.
Me too. Yeah, I have to do that. Well, cool. I know you have a hard stop here soon, so we'll start shutting it down. I really appreciate you coming on. Everyone, go follow him on Instagram, go follow him on YouTube. He goes live, he posts content, DM him. If you have a deal that you need help with, he can help you close them, underwrite them, all of that. And he has some really good buyers lined up. So go do a deal with Dana. He'll get you set up. Do you have any last words to add?
No, just thanks for having me. I was honored to be invited. I think it's a shame that you don't have more subscribers yet. Appreciate you, Abraham. You're at like 80 subscribers and you're putting out way better content than an 80 subscriber channel. So,
I just started, so
yeah,
I'm being very patient with it.
I have some tips for you that can grow that pretty fast. We can do that.
Oh, yeah.
I'll throw them at you real quick here, and then anybody can hear them who's trying to grow their own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I grew mine really fast by posting videos in groups that it made sense with on like the reselling side, and then doing a lot of short content. So shorts will get like, I could put a short out and it might get 200 or 300 views, and then I'll put that same short out again at a different time of day and get 3,000 views. And versus you put out this 30-minute video, it's not going to go viral to a whole bunch of people. It's going to go to your followers and then maybe a few other ones, because YouTube algorithm hates lives for whatever reason. It just hates lives and doesn't want to push them out. But if you do a lot of like, take these and make a little 30-second clip in a vertical format, and you just push out, and if it doesn't get views, then delete it and put it back up again like an hour later, and it'll get 400, 500, 600 views, and you'll start getting a lot of subscribers from those.
Okay.
So something that worked for me. If you go, like, I have probably 50-50 of shorts versus long form on my channel. And the shorts were only about just growing the channel and subscribers, because you would get a whole mess of views or none. And it was like one or the other. There was almost no difference on them. Like the same video would get nothing or a whole bunch. And so if it didn't get a lot of views, I would just take it down and put it up another time. And then it would, some of them went viral, got 50, 60,000 views. That's not really viral, but for my size channel, it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of views. I'm going to use those tips. That's something that I'm like lazy at, I think, and why I like the lives is I don't want to go take the time to edit and do all that. So I need to stop being lazy and just do it.
Yeah, go back, like watch on some of my last couple shorts. They were just like a green screen. It's like, you're on a green screen already right now. And I screen recorded me scrolling on my phone or through the pictures of the Subto deal I just closed on or wholesaled. And then just in 30 to 45 seconds or whatever, less than a minute, because it's got to be under a minute for YouTube shorts. I said, here's how I got it. Here's check out this bedroom. Isn't that a pretty cool kitchen? Anyways, I just got this for 2.875%. How can you do that? Give me a follow and find out for more, that kind of stuff. It's quick. It should take you like a minute to do. And then you can just blast them out there, and hopefully that helps.
Channel and copy some of your stuff today.
Yeah. Hey, and it's just, so I would do them all the time just for fun, to keep my channel alive, because I don't make a lot of money on it, but it's monetized, and you've got to keep putting out content or they won't keep you on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, all about the hooks. You gotta hook them in. Just, hey, check this out. I just bought this house for $10,000 or for no money out of it. I got paid $10,000 to buy this house with 2.875 interest rate. And then people are like, that's a scam. You can't do that. And then I troll them back and forth, and it is what it is.
Love the trolls.
But hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that's so helpful.
Thank you for having me. And if anybody I can be of assistance, just at Dana Invests, I'm happy to help if I can.
Yeah. Thanks a bunch. And thanks for everyone that came and watched live. We'll see y'all next time.